excuse me, at least in this part of the world, Monday is considered to be the first day of the week. When I worked in Saudi Arabia, the first day of the week was Saturday because the weekend there was Thursday and Friday. So I guess it depends when you celebrate the day off, which is either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Well, it depends on your religion, I guess, or something like that. What's this got to do with today's reading? Absolutely nothing. But there you are then. Today's reading is called Healing from the Inside Out. And the first quote is from, I guess you could say he's a controversial figure, at least in Christianity. His name is Richard Rohr, and he is a Franciscan, so he's a Catholic priest. But he's a priest with a difference. He interprets some of the gospel sayings and some of the writings of Paul slightly differently than what you might call conventional Christians, but he's called a panentheist, which is the same as, well, science of mind, religious science, which says that God is greater than everything and that everything is contained within God. So God is all there is, and everything is contained within God, as opposed to monotheism, which states that God created everything, but it created everything outside of itself. So, big major difference. Panentheism also being called monism, or it is called monism. So, did you need to know that? Probably not. Reverend Jesse explained it a little bit yesterday in his talk when he said our teaching is panentheism, monism. So, but be that as it may, he is a spiritual figure. He encourages people to be spiritual and, of course, religious. But as I said, it's slightly different. What does he say? More to the point, he says this: only those who have tried to breathe underwater know how important breathing really is, and will never take it for granted again. They're the ones who do not take shipwreck or drowning lightly. Breathing is incredibly important. So breathing, of course, has been related a lot to spirituality. God, in the Genesis, it says God breathed life into the human being. So, and it's been associated with the Spirit of God many times. Ernest Holmes in Creative Ideas simply says, something in me knows what to do. I joyfully accept its guidance. That's on page 59. And this is from Rev Kelly, our writer for this month, who says, most of us have aspects of our lives we don't like. Perhaps we feel lonely and wish to have quality friendships. We might struggle to have enough money, or we may lack purpose and passion. We may act to change things, but become frustrated when we return to the same spot. Our actions do not take us anywhere different. Why is this? Because we focus on our outer world rather than our inner world. Reverend Kelly goes on to say, yes, it's important to acknowledge parts of your life you wish to live differently. To experience different outcomes requires you to change the cause, which is an inner job. And she goes on to say, this quest to understand cause brought my spiritual journey to me head on. In our teaching, that's in Science of Mind teaching in particular, and in New Thought teaching in general, not to be confused with New Age, okay? In our teaching, we offer a standing invitation to explore the law of cause and effect. A little bit more about this shortly. And while many of us understand the concept intellectually, we often fail to put it to use in our daily struggles. Seeing our true beliefs by ourselves can present a challenge, which is why our spiritual journey can benefit. How? By being in community. This could mean taking classes and participating in groups with like-minded people. Therapy is another option that allows us to be with another to reflect on what we may struggle to see. The best way to see what is cause and what is effect in your life is to start with your problem and continue asking why. Back into it until you can identify a quality of God you don't feel like you are one with. Love, power, beauty, joy, peace, life, and wisdom. The cause of our discontent with Source is the reason for any effect in our life. Healing starts on the inside. Another way you might put this is change your thinking, change your life. Or, as we've often said, change your beliefs and change your life. And beliefs are what? Thought plus feeling. That's belief. So change the way that you think about something, and especially the way you feel about something, and you will indeed change your life. You know, it's kind of like the difference between pain and suffering. You know, pain is a physical sensation. You know, you hit your finger with a hammer and you feel pain here. Actually, your brain is processing the pain, but for simplicity's sake, you feel pain at the end of your finger where you hit it. That's cause and effect. But deep down, cause and effect is slightly different than that. You know, that's just a physical sensation. But how you process that pain is whether or not you're suffering. If you process it simply as pain because you hit your finger with a hammer, or you start complaining about it and moaning about it, then that's different. You're going into suffering. So the difference, I think, between pain and suffering is pain is the physical sensation that happens to you when either something's wrong with your body or you're in an accident and so on. But suffering is the way that you handle it. It's slightly differently. You know, back right at the beginning of my introduction to Science of Mind, Religious Science, I mentioned this on a number of occasions. And the very first time I heard a New Thought sermon was actually Reverend Dr. Jesse Jennings at Creative Life Spiritual Center when he was talking about the difference between sin and cause. He said, there's no such thing as sin, but there is, and punishment, but there is cause and effect. In other words, what he's saying is that there isn't some superhuman figure who's just looking down on everybody, waiting to zap them or punish them if they err. But if you err, there is an effect. It may be an external effect or it may be an internal effect, but there is an effect. So if you commit an injustice against someone, deep down somewhere you realize that there are people around, there are people around who are so messed up mentally, either because of the way they've lived their lives or because their brains are wacky. that they don't see the difference between right and wrong. But I would say 99% of us do see the difference between right and wrong. And even if it doesn't come back to bite you physically, mentally, and spiritually, you realize that you've done something that's wrong. And until you right it, it's affecting you. And oftentimes, that when you try to hide it, it shows up as illness in your life. It shows up as something going wrong. So when we can be open and honest with ourselves, then yes, we can start to live lives that are healthier. So there's actually a physical aspect to this as well as anything. So the affirmation, I don't think I copied the right affirmation into the reading, but it doesn't matter. It says, I'm open and honest with myself. I choose to heal fully and wholly and recognize where I do not feel wholeness. Well, let's stay with that first one. I'm open and honest with myself. And if you can be open and honest with yourself, then you can live a life that is growing spiritually. Reverend Jesse yesterday mentioned again and again, oh, not again and again, he mentioned again the fact that we need to take some time out each day. We need to spend, if it's a little time in meditation and a little time in prayer, or some people, like contemplatives, spend a lot of time in meditation and prayer. Some people devote their lives to that. But the bottom line is to grow spiritually, we need to take some time because we need to get the noise of the world away from us for a while and just sit there in contemplation and allow ourselves to become whole again. Because people benefit physically from meditation. They benefit physically from sitting and just concentrating on their breath. I think it was Reverend Jesse Jennings who talked to me about blood pressure dropping by some huge number by taking up meditation. So there are physical benefits to actually taking care of ourselves spiritually. So I don't know what your belief system is, and I don't know where you're seeing this, but the bottom line is Ernest Holmes never ever wanted to start a separate religion. What he wanted to do was to help people be better themselves and to be better whatever they were, Catholic, Protestant, Jew, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, whatever it was. He just wanted them to be able to be a better themselves. And he never wanted to drag people away. You know, he would encourage them to come to his lectures, learn more about how we process life. And while we say we don't teach you what to believe, we teach you how to believe, what we mean is we don't try to give you a concept of God that we say, that's it, you must believe this and nothing else. We just simply tell you, you have your own relationship with something greater than yourself. And if you're watching these kind of readings, listening to, watching, actually physically doing these kind of readings, then you do believe that there's something greater than yourself. And you may or may not know what you think it is, but there is. And when you do this in community, and part of this is community, then you do tend to benefit more. I've got on more than I usually do, but there you are. I'm open and honest with myself. That's the affirmation I give you for today. So, tune in to Reverend Lisa tomorrow at 9:15. Remember that once a week now, Daniel Mercadal, who is one of our practitioners and the one who monitors the service online, puts all the stuff in the chat in our service for the people online. She will be doing a meditation at about 11:15 a.m. Central Time every Wednesday. She said, I don't have the bandwidth to do what you and Lisa do every day, but I do want to do something, and she is going to do a meditation once a week. So please see if you can tune in for that, 11:15 a.m. Depending on your schedule, you may or may not make it. And Just go to Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page. Not necessarily the one you're on now, because this is on mine. It's on Prosperity Living. It's on a bunch of others. So Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page, 11:15 a.m. on a Wednesday, and you can get a midday meditation, the middle of the day meditation. How about that? So until next time, namaste.